Alright, welcome back, ladies and gents. Alright. Guy with a hammer fighting Hector, and nobody's died yet. This time I haven't made that bad a mistake again. Welcome everybody to Let's Play Fire Emblem, episode 8. Or is it 9? I believe we're actually on 9 now. Episode 8 did end with us nearly dying. Or rather, not us nearly dying, but Rebecca legitimately dying because I screwed up spectacularly. Now, as you can see here... Oh shoot, the soldiers are moving out. It's a turn too early. I did not want this to happen. So we're going to wait here. Florina's actually going to rescue... Hold on a moment. Oh shoot. I've got to put her in the correct spot that Raven can attack her. He should have 5 movements, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Attacks here. She needs to be placed here, so Florina needs to be here. Let me make sure of that. Yep, good. Okay, so, take unit, drop unit. Priscilla will be able to attack next turn, and I just need to place Guy here to make sure that Florina is not attacked by the archer. Rebecca is going to use a vulnerary and not die. Very important part there, and I'm able to move the rest of my team up. Now this last soldier decides to attack Rebecca instead of Guy for some reason, and I don't know entirely why, because, I mean, Guy wouldn't have been able to attack back. The soldier would have had a free hit, whereas Rebecca can attack back so she could do more damage. Rebecca gets everything but strength and HP, which are 2 things that she desperately needs, but what are you going to do? These soldiers are not moving out of their cell on the first turn, which is excellent, good to see. Priscilla is going to talk to Raven. We've already seen this cutscene, so we're going to go ahead and skip that one. And now... Am I going to train Raven this level, or am I going to wait for the bug level to train him? I think I'm going to wait for the bug level to train him. We've got a bunch of knights with lances left, and that's pretty much it. So this is going to be a level for Hector for the rest of the way. We've got an unlock staff, which isn't terrible. I mean, it allows us to unlock doors from a distance. It doesn't allow us to unlock chests, or that would be an incredibly useful item. We're going to leave Florina here as well. She's going to take care of the 3rd unit, and then I'm actually going to have Raven move over here and talk to Lucius. As once I talk to Lucius, that should actually recruit him to be in our party permanently, which would be good. I would like that. So, if you're unable to make it here by the turn that they unlock the door, don't worry too much about it. You do have a single turn, or even 2 turns maybe, in which the units will simply stay in their cell and not move out at all. Again, if you haven't put any units in the back here, Merlinus may get caught and die, which would be bad, but he sticks around. Worst case scenario, you just have to drop a couple of the items in the chest. There we are. As you can see, those units are now moving out. And we do actually have a magic user in this room that I'd forgotten about. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put Rebecca up against the wall, so he'll attack her. I'm going to have Urk move into this room over here. He's going to take out the soldier from across the door. He should drop a door key if I'm not mistaken, but we're not going to need that since Urk already has his key. Rather pointless, really. Then again, I suppose he wasn't supposed to have the door key already. So Lynn's going to go ahead and move up here. These 3 soldiers are moving out, so we're going to rescue them all this turn and talk to Lucius next turn. So long as you have Raven talk to him, that's all you need to do. Be sure to... You can talk to them first? Ah, I guess you can. Go figure. Wait, that wastes a turn? Are you kidding me? Oh, god damn it. Alright, so I'll rescue that guy. Florina will get the last one next turn. I didn't realize talking took up your entire turn. Oh, here we go. There's an important item, a hero crest. In this game, once your unit hits level 10, they can upgrade. We already know this from Wallace, but there are different upgrade items for different classes. Hero crests are used on mercenaries, fighters, or myrmidons, as you can see on the right there, which means that we can upgrade either Guy or Raven first, or Dorcas or Bartray if you're actually training them. Now, as you can see, Oswin's a little bit surrounded down there, but he really doesn't need to worry too much since his defense is high enough to completely repel any attacks they have to throw at him. And since he's the only unit in range, even though Merlinus is right there and he's unguarded and Oswin couldn't catch up to them if they went to attack Merlinus, they will stay and attack whoever is within their range, so they're not going to move from Oswin's position. If you have anyone with high enough defense, or if you just choose to leave Oswin as I have, he'll get plenty of experience and even a couple of levels. Strength, speed, luck, and defense is an amazing level up that I am entirely okay with. And hopefully another wave of Cavaliers spawns, possibly. Would be fairly nice at the very least. Alright, and if you're going to have Rebecca fighting this shaman, you will need to keep a healer nearby, or she's going to have to use a vulnerary, but shamans are fairly slow, so Rebecca can just use her bow and get double hits on them. Fairly low defense means that it's going to be... oh my goodness. And also, something strange that I've noticed, despite the units appearing and killing my units several times now. Did they actually? I could have sworn that units spawned at the beginning of the enemy's turn on some maps, and yet here they're spawning at the end, which is preferable. So I really don't know what to do. Alright, so Raven still absolutely hates Hector, but he's going to help us out anyway, which is cool. I'm going to have Sarah heal up Rebecca here so she can take on this next shaman as well. Oswin still has a bunch of cavaliers down below that he should be able to take out. Nobody has a javelin, right? Good, right. So, with Oswin just taking care of everything down south and Urk taking care of the treasure, we can send Hector to the throne room, and after we've looted everything, we should be good to go. Matthew actually doesn't have to move from this spot again until the level's over. But I don't want to move Hector close to that wall, as I do want Rebecca to get the experience and not him. You could equip the hammer if you're having trouble dealing damage to the knights, but in my case, Hector has gotten strong enough strength growth that he's not having any trouble, even with an iron weapon, dealing damage to these knights. It's, if anything, I might have to use it against the boss, but past that, really nothing else. He's gonna get 2 or 3 levels from this easily, which will be quite excellent. As once you do get a Knight Crest for Oswin, unlike Wallace, who you had to upgrade immediately, you can just wait till 20 to upgrade Oswin, at which point he'll probably have maxed out on strength, probably have maxed out on defense, and will have meager speed at best, but he's going to be a general at that point, so you can just have him walk around and annihilate anything in his path anyway. With his weird chain-throwing glove hand thing, you'll see what I mean. But again, you do need to sacrifice 3 units to carry all of the soldiers if you don't want them to die, as they have a habit of suiciding themselves into the fight. But that's really a small price to pay for getting good items afterwards, and I can't remember, I think if you save all 3 it gets you a white gem, but it might also just be the, oh, a Knight Crest. Speak of the devil. Okay. So that'll be going to Oswin, and once he gets enough experience, he should be more than ready to become an amazing general. Now, unlike some later games in the series, but like pretty much every game prior to this, units, when they hit their oh my god, that was a great level up. Units, once they hit their level cap, can only upgrade to a single different unit. Later, starting with Sacred Stones and going through Fire Emblem Ascension, you would have the option to turn them into different classes. Which could be, say, instead of just being a general, they could also become a Great Knight, which is like a paladin with armor. Instead of becoming a paladin, a cavalier could become a Great Knight. It was a bit convergent, and Ascension added even more classes, Griffin Rider, Dark Knight, Dark Flyer, all sorts of fun things. But they also made a bunch of changes, so take that for what you will. No strength again! God damn it. Now she's officially in the hole for strength, so she's not going to be able to make up that deficit. Urk manages to pull a silver sword out of that chest, which is amazing. Silver swords are extremely high rank swords, silver weapons in general are extremely high rank, but swords especially. Silver swords are pretty easy to get because you often attack twice with swords, so you're going to have a lot of people hitting rank A, and the people who use swords generally don't have the highest attack damages, see Myrmidons and Thieves, as well as Lynn and Elowood. So silver swords are more useful than probably the other two silver weapons combined, simply due to the units that you use them on. Go figure. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and end our turn here. Shaman moves over, attacks Rebecca again, Rebecca tears him apart, and then we just move Hector into the throne room where he should be able to dispose of these enemies fairly quickly. There we are. Now, what do they have? Javelin, Javelin, Iron Lance. So I'm going to go ahead and equip Hector with his hand axe here. He can still kill the enemies with his hand axe, but now when the Javelin using knights attack him, he won't be unable to attack back, because that would take a full 3 turns to kill them, whereas now he's going to be attacked on their turn, and they're going to just throw themselves against him and die. Which is good. I like that. It's a good result. And then next to— oh shoot, I haven't been moving Elowood. Although Hector is a lord, only your primary lord, the one whose story it is, can seize spaces to end the level. In this case, in our case, that's Elowood. It used to be Lynn, but now it's Elowood, and no damage. That's always a wonderful sound to hear. But only Elowood can seize the throne, so even if Hector manages to kill the boss, he still won't be able to end the level. HP and skill, that's not terrible. He can still use some speed, but you know what? That's okay right now. So long as he can hit the enemies, he's already hitting them hard enough to really not make much of a difference with anything else. So I could use the Wolf Bale, which would be 21 twice, or I could use the Hammer, which would be 21 once with a significantly lower hit chance. The Hammer is like a less effective Wolf Bale, but considering Hector can't die from this fight, and I don't think the boss has anything but a Steel Lance, I'm just going to have him use that because Elowood has to catch up anyway. So there's no disadvantage to using it. Alright, so General manages to miss his attack, which is excellent. Hector gets 13 experience, he's nearly level 13 already compared to Elowood's— well actually Elowood's level 12 and Lynn's level 10. They're not too far behind. Getting your lords leveled up early and then just leaving them be is usually a pretty good strategy, especially considering the rest of your units are going to be able to handle things anyway, and you don't have as much of an option in terms of leveling up or classing up your lords. Alright, so Bernard is actually accepting of his fate because he thinks it's a just reward for the brutality they showed other countries, which is kind of depressing because that guy seemed fairly decent in his last moments, but then again, he was part of the murderous country. He helped serve the king that has been completely overtaken by the evil minister and a bunch of other stuff. Anyway, Elowood's going to seize the throne, and that is the end of the level. And regrettably, they are going to find out that, don't worry, there's blood on the throne and some other guy was sitting on it, and these guys have already murdered one Marquess. There, over there, there's someone there. Who is it? It's Lydia. Or Layla. Whatever. And apparently she works for Hector. Okay, so she's a spy. There you go. Marquess is back there receiving treatment. So instead of finishing him off per her orders, she saved him, which is probably going to cost her later, considering Effadel knows that she's good at her job and he was a weak, frail old man, so anytime that she doesn't finish anyone off in this sort of scenario would have to be a betrayal. Okay, so we're going to talk in private about the disappearance of Elowood's dad. Let's learn what we can. Alright, so his dad is alive, that's a good one. The Black Fang is a guild of assassins founded about 10 years ago by Brendan Reed, based in Bern. Targeted only nobles who have used it. Okay, so Robin Hood types. And then he got married and the operations have changed. Oh, that's just wonderful. Now they'll take on any target as long as they're paid. Well, that's wonderful. Nurgle, there we go. There's a familiar, silly name. Effidel is with Laos, so Effidel works for Nurgle. Whoever married Brendan Reed works for Nurgle. Nurgle is one of the most evil-sounding names I've heard in a good long time. I think we found our true villain here, folks. Okay, so he didn't endorse the plan, but he's down at the Dragon's Gate. Fair enough. Oh, the Dread Isle. That sounds great. I cannot believe how great that sounds. Okay, and she advises us that it would be a good idea to let everybody know that the Marquess died, even though he didn't. What are they like? That's a good question. Okay, you haven't seen Nurgle, neither have we, that's fine. Effidel cloak covers his face, his eyes glow gold. They seem inhuman, that's probably because there are. Come on, this is a place with something called the Dragon's Gate. Alright. So, all the soldiers survived, and he gives us... Okay, it is a jewel. Is it a white gem or red? Blue? Red gem. Alright, so 2,500 gold. That's not bad. And we do want to accept the side quest, which you get for saving these soldiers. And we'll save and move forward. And this side quest... It's extremely important that you get this side quest. Gold is nice, and don't get me wrong, it's extremely nice. That gem is a wonderful thing. But this level is so integral to my entire team. Just because we get one of my favorite units, probably of all time, on this island. And it's one of the few places early in the game where you can find an arena. Alright, so apparently pirates might be the way that we could get to the Dread Isle, and they're fearless, they'll go anywhere for a fee. Cool. Now, Lynn hates pirates, but... because she thinks they're like sea bandits. Whatever. We've really only got pirates to do with. There's really no one else that'll work with us. You know what, that's fine. But they're over in this tavern here. So we'll go ahead and wander in. Now we get the guy with the ridiculously... spike... I don't know. His beard seems fairly spiky. But he's got the bandana. He's just... He shouts pirate. How much will you pay to book passage there? 100,000 gold. That's a lot of gold. We do not have that much. We've got about 1/10 of that. Well, there is an arena. There is an arena here. We can raise gold somehow. There you are. Well, if you were to raise money that way through the arena, you'd all be pretty tip-top fighting shape in no time. Oh, also, here we have Dart. The captain has a message for us. All the mates are going to attack us. If you can beat us all and get to the ship unharmed, he'll give you passage. You don't actually have to be unharmed. Just, you just have to get there. The captain would rather have a bit of fun with you than take your gold, smooth sailing, and Dart runs away. Okay, if you attack the captain, it is an instant game over. All you have to do is move next to him and use the talk command. That's it. Now, this level is a bit weird. One of the strangest things about this level is the fact that... Oh, one second. Okay, so Lynn is okay with the pirates since we don't really have another option. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to sell the red gems to Merlinus, get us a little bit of extra gold here. What else do we have that I can sell? I want to put that Night Crest in storage for now, we're not going to use it yet. Marcus is actually going to take the mine out of storage and sell both it and the red gem. Get us a little bit of extra gold. Now, who all can I bring along on this fight? 9 units is all, okay. So, I think I'm going to leave Sarah behind. Let me go ahead and check the map, see, is there a shop in this map? There is a vendor, good. That's important. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to be doing a little bit of arena training. Not too much, not overly much, but just enough that I'm able to actually hold my own. Now the thing about this level is that these pirates are extremely dangerous, and your only goal is to get to Fargus and talk to him. Now, your immediate thought is going to be, well, there's a hammer, there's a killer axe, there's a silver axe, there's a killer bow, there's a dude with hellfire, there's a dude with flux, they're all just sitting there, they're fairly high level, this is a terrible idea. If you don't want to do the fight, if you don't want to use the arena, if you don't want to go to the shop, if you don't want to go to some of these houses, you can fly a unit up here, make your way around the side, and talk to him before you really have to fight any of these. But, where's the fun in that? It's boring. It's so boring. Plus, you're not going to really get the best unit if you just go around the side here. Although, the person in the tavern is going to tell you as much, that you should go around the side and ignore it. Ignore that person. They're not right. So, we're going to send Guy up top, because we do have to have someone kill these pirates, but more than that, we're going to just have to have Hector and Oswin, probably. Go ahead and defend this area. I don't actually think Hector takes extra damage from things like hammers, so he will actually be the perfect person to defend here. Although these enemies are quite fearsome, he does have 14 defense with which to repel them. So, we can pick one more unit. So I think we're going to bring Florina with for flying. It would be easy enough for her to get to this town over here by flying in from the top and over the fence, and then flying out again promptly afterwards. But for now, I think this is going to have to be our team. Let's save and continue. Merlinus became level 8, and we will take him with because an extra level is always an extra level for Merlinus. Alright, we're going to go ahead and equip Guy with his killing edge, because we just want him to take out the enemies for post-haste. And and as you may hear, the music is Together We Ride. That's usually the music you get when you get a new team member. And indeed we do. This is Canas, or Canas? Canis? I'll call him Canis for this one. Now, we are going to be heading to the Dread Isle, and that is why we're playing tag with these pirates. And he wants to head over there because he's a dark mage and he wants to investigate black magic. Go figure. So, meet Canas. He is an incredibly useful unit that comes with fairly good stats at the very beginning, and a secret book at that. He is a shaman, and the shaman and its upgrade, oh, what is it? I can't actually remember the name of the shaman's upgrade, oh well. Doesn't matter for now. Are two of the most useful units in the game. Simply by virtue of being extremely powerful. Now, the thing is, this level is a bit strange. As soon as you step on, I think it's this square, these enemies will aggro onto you. Until you step onto these squares, the only enemies that will move to attack you are the ones up here. These guys are supposed to be a roadblock. You're not, strictly speaking, supposed to fight them, but you can. So, also, I don't know if I'll actually do the arena, come to think of it. Simply because Dart is standing there. I don't know if killing Dart here will actually do anything, but I don't even know if he moves at this point. He probably doesn't. And he is a recruitable unit later, and a fairly useful one at that, so it's worth it to keep him around. But in any case, we're going to have Elowood go around here. Florina is going to stick around. She's going to help with the magic users when the time comes to fight all of these enemies. But it's really going to be two front lines of Oswin and Hector, with Canas and Urk behind them. Guy is just going to mop up the entire top row by himself, since he's finally getting just about powerful enough that he can handle enemies on his own. He can certainly double attack most enemies at this point, but his strength has yet to grow, which is terrible. He needs to get more. Oh, a hand axe, that sucks. But luckily, and one of my favorite things about Myrmidons, he has enough dodge chance that he really doesn't have to worry about being hit too much. So, with Guy up here, oh, and he can't actually use the steel sword now, good, good. I'm going to move Hector, Urk, Oswin, and Canas into position, and we're going to start this fight. And you'll know that you've triggered it correctly if the enemy reacts as soon as you, well, as soon as you attack, as soon as you move. Or perhaps not. Maybe this wasn't the space? I could have sworn it was, because I couldn't visit this village without it. Do you not think it would be better to find another route? You risk too much to come here. I can't let you leave empty-handed. Take this axe? Okay. Devil axes are pretty worthless items. That isn't to say they're not valuable if you sell them at a shop. They're quite useful. Also, it's ludicrously powerful. At 18 might, only 15 hit, but very, very powerful. Even the wolf bale only has 10 mites. That's 8 more. But it has a chance to hit you for your attack damage, if I'm not mistaken. It's way too risky. I do not like using it. Plus, it's so weighty that you can almost never get a second attack off. And it's so heavy and cumbersome that you really can't get much of a hit chance with it, so I don't know. I find it worthless. Completely and totally worthless. And I forgot about these guys. That was the dangerous part. Oh, crap. Okay, so meet the boss of the level. And you don't actually have to trigger him. You can get straight around Damien without ever having to fight him, but doing so is fairly difficult. Let's see here. So his units are fairly powerful, plus they've got a troubadour who will heal the pirates. Even if they're not on the same side, they will still heal each other as if they were allies, which isn't particularly fair, but it's Fire Emblem. What are you going to do? I can't remember if these knights move on their own. It does not appear so, and if you think that you're too weak to fight these enemies right now, if you just want to come to this side chapter to get Canas and get out, feel free. You can do so without any sort of penalty. And there it is, that's the line, right there. I would have let him sit there if they hadn't come any closer. Up and at him, mates, attack. That's the call, and now you need to defend yourself. Once you cross this line, the enemies will attack, and since they do have an archer, I'm going to keep Florina out of his range. There we go. So now, we have to fight the pirates and the paladin. He actually comes right out if you begin. Now, he only has a 54% chance to hit against Oswin to do 4 damage with a 26% crit chance, so worst case scenario, he could do 12 damage to Oswin. The only problem is, Oswin can't do much damage to him. Now, Hector is also fighting an enemy with crit chance, and crit chance enemies are, in my opinion, even more dangerous than enemies who just have more powerful attack values. Because if you know how much an enemy is going to do if they hit, you can kind of build around that. But if an enemy has a 25% chance to do 3 times as much damage, that could throw everything off. So now we've got a bunch of enemies there. And when I say a bunch of enemies, I do mean just an absolute mass of enemies. Now, we want to actually... I want to keep Hector healed up, so I'm going to have Urk do is attack this unit, and Hector is going to heal, I think. He should, don't quote me on this, he should be able to survive the turn. If he doesn't, then you're about to see me cut to a more successful run. But yes, we're going to equip the hand axe, so Hector can actually attack back if any ranged enemies attack him. We are also going to have Canas go ahead and attack Damien, the paladin. He does still have that killing edge, but Knas has Flux, so he's able to do some damage to him. Not very much, but a little bit. And then we can actually have Rebecca move down and start attacking some of these units. Most importantly, the Troubadour, because we don't want her healing anyone. And then what we're going to do is literally just sit our units here and let them throw themselves against us. They're going to get the first attacks, but the fact of the matter is that they're going to get most of the first attacks anyway, and he just got a crit against Hector instead. That's why I didn't want to kill that unit. Oh, that was a bad idea. Alright, hopefully Hector won't die here. Oswin gets a critical hit against his pirate. Apparently he really didn't like his silver axe. But with 2 magic users and a bow user sitting up there by Hector, the 2 magic users primarily is the part I'm worried about, I don't think that we're going to be surviving this fight too well. Unless I get really, really lucky. Also, given the fact that I had Hector and Elowood establish a support relationship off camera in the previous episode, I should have put Elowood there with him. Oh, he's got a hammer. Okay, so now both Oswin and Hector are in danger of dying. Oswin because he keeps killing the enemies, and Hector for the same reason. And because my strategy was evidently terrible. Perhaps I should have just fallen back afterwards and made them funnel through there. That would have been a much better move. Damn it. Yeah, Oswin just died, so I think I will see you guys in a minute here when I've had a more successful run. Alright, hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, I've taken up a more defensible position down here. I actually just moved in on turn 3 to aggro the enemies immediately, so I got there before Damien had even appeared. Now I'm going on the offensive against these enemies to try to take out as many as I can before some bad stuff happens. Now, I did use Matthew's Iron Blade to let him take out one of these pirates. I think I'm going to trade it to Elowood so he might be able to do the same, but he can't. He's too weak. I think I might have to have Florina move against this enemy then, and then I'm going to promptly have to move someone else in to take care of the archer, which is probably going to be Urt, because we have 2 magic users sitting there and not really many more enemies. It could work. Slim Lance, that should make things pretty much guaranteed. That hammer is not going to be able to hit Oswin and kill him this time, which is good, but if that archer hits Florina, she's pretty much dead, so we're going to give this another shot then. Hector needs some healing before he goes back into the fight, so we're going to go ahead and heal him up with Priscilla. Joshua up top, by the way, when I restarted and when Joshua leveled up again, he finally got a point of strength. He's now sitting at 7 at level 8, so it's not great, but it's something. We're going to attack with the Iron Axe? No, we're not. Iron Axe wouldn't do enough damage. Nothing would do enough damage. That's not good at all. Wolfbale would nearly do enough damage. I had 13% crit chance with this support on Elowood. No dice. Shit. I should have had her attack with the Javelin. That way this guy wouldn't have been able to attack her regardless, but now I have a bit of an issue. If I can have these 2 rescue 2 units... Knas, can you rescue Elowood? You cannot. Can you rescue Elowood? Nobody can rescue Elowood. Shoot. I think I'm going to have to just roll the dice and see if Florina dies here, because if she does, then that's the end of this particular level, and we're going to go ahead and try again. Meanwhile, Guy's just sitting there with his steel sword doing perfectly fine. That pirate's going to move in. He's not going to be able to do anything. 44% chance! She didn't die. She's alive! She's alive! Oh my god. That's beautiful. Okay. So, they did not land a crit. Florina did take 20 damage from them, but that wasn't enough to kill her. This mage is going to use Elfire, which is fine because it's going to miss with a 77% hit chance, which is just amazing. My luck is going my way this time, finally. I'm going to go ahead and attack with an Iron Axe. 91% chance to hit. Don't fail me now, Hector. Good. Now the bowman is dead, and we just have 3 more enemies to go. Now, we do have to be careful of that paladin down there, Damien, or whatever his name was, because he can still do quite a lot of damage to us if we let him. Who did I have Oswin rescue? Matthew, that's right. So, it's time for Elowood to go ahead and attack, I think. He can take out this enemy, but he'd be pretty much dead if it hits. If it does hit, then I can just have Florian to rescue him and run away, since I need to do that anyway. But it misses! My luck this level! Oh my god, this is glorious. I cannot fail this one. I've received too many wonderful rolls now. Alright, so 27-15. That's alright. That's not great, but that's not terrible. What does this pirate have, though? is an iron axe. That's it, he just does an iron axe. Okay, I think Elwood can survive an iron axe, and then a flux user. I can send Florina back here to get healed. We can drop Matthew, and he can just move again some other turn. Use a men's staff on Florina, and I think we're going to survive. I think we've done it. We have successfully fended off that enemy attack. So, as you can see, if you want to go through this level, it might take a little bit of luck, it might take a little bit of positioning, but you will eventually be able to— that's a terrible level up, by the way. You will eventually be able to get through and take out the enemies. And so, as you can see, Guy does have 7 strength, 14 skill, 15 speed. Not terrible at all, actually. Considering he's only level 8, he's probably going to max out on the skill and speed, but then Myrmidons usually do, so I'm not too worried about that one. Why would I be worried about it at all? Oh. Anyway, as you can see, Canas actually does quite a bit of damage, and he takes very little damage for a magic user. Even if the enemy hits, it's only going to do 7 damage because Dark Mages have a lot of defense. And if you level them up enough, they can basically be game breakers with their late game ability Luna, which allows them to completely negate enemy defenses. It is the single most overpowered iteration of the spell, and in the next game they nerfed it significantly, but for now we're going to take advantage of it. In fact, one of the later bosses is so strong with magic resist that when you get a bit of a late game superpower, it is actually more beneficial to have your late game superpower use Luna instead of his super legendary tome. Simply because the resistance is so high. Which I'm going to be taking advantage of naturally, but... Alright, so we've got Canas here, and Canas is going to be able to do quite well. The pirate is going to try to do some damage to Elwood, but he's going to fail, hopefully. I suppose my luck couldn't go forever. Elwood is not going to take enough damage to die this turn. In fact, he's going to be able to kill this unit this turn, and now the only people left are these 4. Well, these 2 as well. What do they have? A silver axe and a silver axe, so they're actually fairly deadly. I want to keep Damien away from Hector, though, so I'm going to be using Oswin for this fight. Oh, goodness. Because you do actually want to kill a paladin. Paladins give tons of experience, and it's so useful. There's really no reason you wouldn't want to. So... Good, Canas got the kill on that pirate, so that should get him a little bit of experience. He's nearly up to level... He's about halfway to level 9, that is. I'm going to send Guy up this way just to get... Oh no, I'm going to send Florina. What am I talking about? I'm going to send Florina over this way. Well, first, to kill this shaman, actually, because why not? She can do that, I think. No, she can't. That's wonderful. She does not have enough strength to wield a steel lance successfully. A javelin, however, she seems to be able to use just fine. I'm going to have to get her a decent weapon now. Then again, I wonder if that vendor that's in town said... Oh, okay. Florina gets a crit and immediately kills the enemy, nearly at level 11, just 4 experience away, good. Priscilla can go ahead and heal Elwood here. Wait. I've made this mistake once before, I'm not doing it again. There we go. Alright, so Priscilla is going to be able to use heal on Elwood and then Florina. Florina is going to be able to visit the remaining villages in this town to get the items that they would grant us. And then, after we've taken out these next couple of enemies, we should be able to go through the arena. So... There we go. Alright, it is just going to be a minute until we can finish this. So I'm actually going to cut to when we visited all 3 villages and we are ready to fight. See you guys in a second. Alright, a Lance Reaver. It's an incredible sword to take against lances. I've never seen one before. What is it? It looks so wonderful. Alright, so they're actually all giving me the same advice. If you want to avoid the pirates, just go ahead and go down the shop. We got a short bow. Oh, by the way, from these places, we got a short bow, a sleep staff, and the Lance Reaver here. And of those, the only one I really think is going to be incredibly useful in the future is... Alright. And as with any Fire Emblem situation, you have to figure out where your enemy is going to be able to be drawn out one by one. In this case, the spot just one down here is a spot that this pirate can attack, that this pirate cannot. Regrettably, Damien has enough movement that he can actually attack anywhere this pirate can. And even a little bit more than that, so we're going to have to be careful there. But I think that with the help of Oswin we should be able to do that, as well as the fact that now that we're going to be in the open, we don't have to bunch up and we can actually just gang up on the enemies instead of them doing the exact opposite to us. So, we're going to go ahead and bring Canas back down. Priscilla is going to move over here, but nobody needs healing, do they? Hector could use an HP, that's fine. Oh dear, sorry. Accidentally hit the fast forward key there. Alright, so... now... going to go ahead and end this. There we go. Pirate comes out, 35% chance deals 17 damage, fails it, good. Elwood attacks twice with an iron sword, very nearly dead, free experience for whoever wants to take it. And then we have that lovely little knight just sitting there. We're going to need pretty much our entire team at the ready to kill that paladin. So I'm going to keep everybody on hand. Hector is going to be sitting there with the wolf bale, he's going to be a last resort though. Matthew's going to be there, Elwood's going to be there, and of course, Oswin is going to be the one that draws them both out. The only place that they can actually stand, they would both stand to attack, would be here, but neither of them can actually move past. So if I stood Oswin here, I think he should only be able to be attacked by one of the two units, hopefully the pirate, and then it'll just draw the other one out. Oswin does land the hit, good, I was trusting that. If that hadn't happened, Elwood would have had to get the kill, but that's fine, Elwood can get the occasional kill. Now end the turn, and boss moves first. Now, he does have a fairly low hit chance, so he's not even going to deal damage to Oswin, and since his killing edge is a melee range weapon, we're going to take advantage of the fact that pretty much all of us can hit him from range. Now, as you may be noticing, this time when Damien moved, the rest of his knights did not, and this is actually fairly important. It's a thing about the AI in this level, and one that I didn't take advantage of before because I didn't realize it. What happens is, when you cross this line, it triggers all of the enemy units to attack you. If you cross that line before the paladin shows up, he isn't there for that trigger, and so he doesn't attack you until you actually get within his range. Once you've gotten within his range, he'll attack you the same as anyone else, but he won't even bring his knights with him, which is important, or his cavaliers, you know what I mean. So it is a really helpful thing to take advantage of. And now, as you can see, Urk has dealt tons of damage to Damien. He's sitting at 9 HP, and we've got Canas just sitting here as well. What does this guy have? He has a steel lance, steel sword, and of course he has the silver axe that I've rather been dreading. But I think that we're going to go ahead and have Guy kill him. Guy can't even do damage. Okay. I told you needed more strength, man. How much hit would you have with the wolf bale? Oh, this is risky, but he wouldn't be able to kill Hector if Hector misses, so let's go ahead and hope. Success! Crow in Triumph, you've probably going to say something like accomplished nothing, but that's not true. I just got Hector a level up. Now, no strength, but skill and resistance. He's actually just failed to level up skill now, so he literally cannot max skill anymore. That's fine, he's still going to have a ludicrously high level of skill before the battle is over. Now, only one unit can move in to attack here, so it's either going to be this pirate or this cavalier. The other one is just going to kind of sit by and be impotent in the meantime. So we're just going to go ahead and wait for... yeah, there we go. Silver Axe, he's going to attack Oswin with it because he can actually deal damage and because Oswin's easier to hit. But with Oswin's level up, he might even get defense or speed that could allow him to attack twice in return when things like this happen again. Skill, defense, and resistance, that's not amazing, but it's not terrible, so we'll take it. Guy can more than easily deal damage to this pirate though, so he's going to go ahead and take him out with an iron sword. And I think that my suspicions have been confirmed that Dart doesn't move to attack you. HP and speed, that's pretty good. But I almost don't want to test it. I'll test it once everybody else is dead and see if he is going to move to attack us or if he's just going to be kind of sitting there and waiting for us to go through. Blackfang is going to land a 13 damage hit on Guy, but Guy can't even possibly kill him, so he should be fine. In fact, I think I'll just have Urk kill that Cavalier next turn, should be alright. Hector has his Iron Axe, the guy has his Steel Sword, that's a disadvantage for him, but he has Canas in the back, just waiting to be able to strike. The only disadvantage is we have to actually do enough damage for Canas to be able to get the kill, and we do want Canas to get the kill because we want him to level up, so we'd need to do 11 damage, and he does 13 if he hits with the Iron Axe. So, 76% chance, and he misses, means that this is going to be a terrible chance for us. That's fine. Hector's going to survive the turn. Guy won't if I don't kill this unit, but that's fine. Fire has a better chance to hit the enemy. He is still standing on that forested area, which kind of sucks, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pull back a little bit. Not too much, because I still want the enemy to either attack Hector or Oswin, since they have the highest defenses, and because they probably won't kill them. And if he attacks Urk, then he almost certainly will. So we're going to go ahead and heal Joshua then with the heal staff, and I am sorely tempted to start fast forwarding through those healing sections just because it is the exact same thing. But I shall bear with it. Oh, Oswin can deal 15 damage. Why didn't I just think of having Oswin attack first? He actually has a lance to deal damage with. Oh well, whatever. That's fine. So now we can have Oswin attack. He'll reduce him to 11 HP. Canas should have enough to kill him. 15 damage, more than enough. So, once he lands the Flux, he should get the kill and the experience for it. And not quite level up. That'll be when he kills another unit. Yeah, 91 experience. He's very, very close, but he's not quite there. Now, let's go ahead and move Matthew down as well, because why wouldn't we move Matthew down? Elwood's still at a moderate amount of HP, and the only person down there is a Troubadour. And we do have a little village here, which presumably has something wonderful for us to grab, hopefully. Now, I'm a bit worried about this arena, because I want to use it, but on the other hand, I don't want Dart attacking me. So that's rather going to be the issue. So let me go ahead and check to see if Dart even attacks. First test, oh, you know what? Where's Florina? Florina needs to be within range of Fargus. That way, if something goes wrong, she can just talk to him. But, for now, let's put someone within Dart's range and see if he moves to attack. If he does, then that means I'm going to have to move and talk to Fargus as soon as possible. Yeah, if you go to the arena, it's filled with toughs and bravados. You can get rich there. All you have to do is wager and then win the fights. And if you lose your money in life. Press the B button to give up. You can't give up if you're dead. That's all good advice. He's telling us how to use arenas. Okay, so Dart doesn't move to attack. What about if we move within range of him? Standing Elwood on the arena for a little bit of dodge chance. He doesn't even attack then. That's great. So, what I'm going to be doing is power leveling my units a bit. With this arena here, arenas can be extremely dangerous to use, as they do have the possibility of dying, since the fight goes until one of the combatants is dead, and you can encounter pretty much any enemy in there. However, they also have the fact that they'll get you a ton of cash if you play them a lot, and the fact that your healer will level up considerably, because they have to buy staves to keep everyone healed up so they can continue going to the arena. So a level with an arena is basically free experience and money, so long as you're willing to wager your life on it. Which means that it is fairly risky. However, there is a strategy I use. If you go to the arena, like I'm doing now, if you wager, I'm not going to wager 750 gold, instead I'm going to go to the arena again. Every time you go there, it changes. Now, depending on the amount of gold they offer you, if they offer you less gold, it's going to be a less difficult fight for you. In this case, it's 680, so I'm going to go ahead and take that. It's a Cavalier with an Iron Sword versus Elwood. He can deal 8 damage. Elwood will deal 8 damage. If he misses it all, like he just did, then I have a good chance of taking him out. But the thing is, with the attack animations of some units, you have to be really careful as to when you're going to be able to attack. 3 misses in a row is absolutely fantastic. Elwood gets the kill without any trouble whatsoever. And the experience for it, and the gold for it, because it's either double or nothing on your gold. You get double, or you lose everything, and you lose your unit. If it's a Lord unit, you lose completely. And with the money that you're getting, you can keep buying more staves, so you can keep using your healer, so you can keep... It's just a wonderful little cycle. So I'm actually going to have Florina go up to the vendor and buy a couple of healing staves. They also have a lightning tome, which is interesting. I'm going to... Can I buy weapons here? Of course not. I'm going to go ahead and sell the short bow, because I don't really want to use it. You can't really buy them anywhere, I don't think, but that should be alright for our purposes. I'm going to go ahead and buy a single heal staff for now, and I'm going to have Elwood take on the arena again. 670 gold, I'll take that. Now, if this enemy hits twice, here's my strategy in these fights. Elwood can strike twice against this enemy, but if this enemy hits twice, I'll press B immediately to back out, like I'm doing now, very frantically. That way, if Elwood missed his next strike, I would immediately withdraw from the fight and he would not have any possibility of dying. Now, you may say, he has a 65% chance to hit, why don't you just trust that Elwood will hit with his 80% chance in one of those two things? Because that's the kind of thinking that gets you killed. In the arena, and using the arena in Fire Emblem, one of the most important things you can do with your units is make sure that they don't die. Because you're going to be going through so many fights in the arena that, statistically, it is more probable that you're going to run into a situation where you are going to die unexpectedly. So you just need to be careful to not go into a situation that you absolutely can't handle. Which is why if you're playing like I am, and I can and am, if you're playing like I am, then you should and will retreat from a fight when it looks like you could die. I don't mean like when it looks risky, I mean when the math says that there is a slight chance that you can die. It's boring, but it's practical. Also, never take many bets above 720 or 730 gold. 650 is perfectly safe. And naturally I get put up against a Pegasus Knight somehow. Hopefully Elwood can strike twice against them, I'm assuming? No. And I'm backing out. See, Elwood has a 92% chance to hit for 11 damage. He would have killed the enemy, barring of course the 8% chance that he didn't hit. And I've had that 8% chance happen, so I'm not going to take that risk. But that said, this is going to take a while to do all of the arena, admittedly arena power leveling that I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to see you all when I get back. Until then, this has been PA, and I'll see you all in just oh, wait a minute. It hasn't been nearly long enough for an episode. I'll just see you in a second. I'm gonna cut the video. Alright, so I may have gone a little bit overboard with the training. As you can see, my entire squad is now level 20. In addition, we are going to get to see our first two upgrades of the game. Oswin, level 20 Knight, upgrading with the Knight's Crest to level 1 General. Oh, and a hell of a unit he is going to be. I believe he maxed out on defense before his upgrade. He did, so he's now up to 22 defense and 40 HP. By chapter, what is this? We're somewhere around 13, 14, something like that. Laporta Bedan. Also, Guy finally got some strength growth during his level ups, and with a hero crest, he turns into a sword master. Our second upgraded unit, he gets an extra 2 strength, 2 defense, 1 resistance, 1 constitution, and 5 HP, but that doesn't really matter too much, or doesn't matter as much, because one of the benefits of the Swordmaster is they get passive crit chance, which is completely unlisted. You have no way of knowing that that's there unless you know in advance. But the bottom line is that these are now going to be the A-team. These folks are just going to wreck any map we need wrecked, and we are probably not going to be training up too many of the other units until... Oh, by the way, don't attack Vargas. We're not going to be training up too many other units until we encounter another arena, as it is one of the most reliable methods. Again, just remember, if you want to do this method, you want to make sure that you don't take bets that are too far over 700, 720 maybe. Never accept any bet that is over 750, because when you start getting up to there, that's about the point where your units have a chance of getting one shot, which is extremely bad for you. In any case, I believe that we are going to go straight on to the next episode here, or the last one that level only lasted like 20 minutes or so because we were able to take out the enemies fairly efficiently. Now, our next level, as you may notice, is in the middle of the ocean. It's actually going to be a seafaring battle. There we go. Pirate ship. No points for guessing what the antagonist is going to be here. But yeah, you stay around 700 gold and you should be safe. Oh, additionally, I have about 100,000 gold at this point. We could have literally accepted Fargus's offer of 100,000 gold instead of making it to him in a fight. But now we just get to keep it instead, which means we're not going to worry as much. We're not going to have to worry as much about weapons and upgrades and things of that sort. Especially once we get to a single chapter that is extremely useful because it has the secret shop in it, which actually does sell upgrade items if I'm not mistaken. Now, we just find a random boat in the ocean, and anything here must have come from the Dread Isle, so that's all nice and spooky. So who did we pull aboard? Ah, what a gentleman. So, turns out the random person they pulled off the boat was Ninian, for some reason, because this sort of thing happens. You get adrift in a boat in the sea, and another boat that was heading to the Dread Isle from your location to save the father of a person who was presumably completely unrelated to your situation just happened to find you and pull you ashore, where the people that knew you from earlier, that when you had an adventure to save a girl from her uncle, or at least her uncle's plan for a hostile takeover of his part of the country, paid off. I think that about covers it. In any case, this reunion is going to be cut a bit short because there are pirates on board. Or soon to be on board. Now, apparently, they breach the hull, and naturally that means that nobody is going to be able to help us above decks. We just have to fight off the Black Fang ourselves. So naturally, we've just got a bit of a fight ahead of us, but with our units as high level as they are, we're really not going to have too many problems. Instead, the difficulty in this level is going to come from... oh, here we go. We have a guy down there. What is the victory condition for this map, I wonder? In any case, we have Zoldam, a level 18 shaman who normally you're not actually supposed to fight, so far as I know. You're just supposed to hang out here until Fargus comes back. But what we can actually do is, since Florina is an extremely high level, and because we already have a Swordmaster and a General at our side, Florina's got 11 resistance and is just about maxed on skill and speed, she could actually probably head over there with a Pure Water naturally to boost up her resistance slightly, and then just head out. Additionally, we have got a couple of extra supports that I've started. Florina with Hector, Elowood with Hector, he's only ever going to get rank B on that one. Oswin with Matthew, and Urk with Priscilla. So we want to keep these units near each other so they can train a bit more efficiently. Pardon? Can I really shop at... okay. I never actually knew that you could do this. You can look at what these shops have for sale before the fight starts, which is really helpful actually. I think that... considering Florina doesn't actually... oh, no, I want to go back, not to the shop again. First off, I'm going to be sending Guy over to the right side of the map, along with Oswin, since they're pretty much the ones I want to train up most. If we look at the units that we actually have available for this map, we do have the A-team ready with the additions of Sarah and Lynn. However... oh, we actually don't have Canas with us right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave Hector behind for this level, since as a lord he's not going to be getting any more experience, and everybody else is already level 20, so I really don't have to worry too much about that. Priscilla can stay because I want her to build up her support. Actually, Hector should stay as well. Rebecca can stay behind because she doesn't need to build up her support. Florina, Sarah, Lynn... dang, I really can't leave too many of these folks behind. Either they're people that I want to fight, or... they don't have anything. Additionally, Matthew has a secret book that I am going to be using on him since he did get fairly poor strength or skill growth. He only has, what was it, 7? 9, which is pretty poor for a thief. So I'm going to go ahead and use that on him. And Matthew is actually going to be able to go and steal the speed wings belonging to Zoldam at the bottom right of the map, since he is considerably faster at this point. He just has to be careful to not die, but at this point that's really not going to be a concern, because everybody on my team is at a high enough level that I don't really need to worry about that as much. So I'm going to send Lynn over to the right side of the map to fight most of these units. She's going to have to be careful, but she'll have Guy and Oswin here for backup if need be. Urk can go to the right side of the map with Florina, so that won't be too much of a problem, and I think that once we give Florina a javelin... Let's see, okay, never mind, hold on, where's the list? There we go, item list. I need a javelin, I'll take Lowen's. Also, she needs a vulnerary. Who has vulnerary they're not using? Oh, there's one in the... And last but not least, do we still have that pure water? Oh, I guess I don't. Oh well, I should still be able to do with that. And if I really needed to, I could send Urk over there, though I don't really think he's going to have too many troubles in the slightest, regardless of situation. So Ellawood, I'm just going to have a couple folks sell the items that they're really not going to be using. Ellawood with the hand axe they had for some reason. Hector can actually put that javelin back. Oswin can use the devil axe, but I really don't want him to. I'm just going to sell that instead. Really no need for extra cash, but it's always good to have that sort of thing around. And I think this should about do it. I am going to pick Raven to come with us for this map, since Canas really doesn't need to, because I want him to get experience as well. It's unlikely that he's going to, given the situation, but it's possible. I just have to try to not rely too much on my additional units here. So, with that, I think we're going to save and start the level. Merlinus is level 9, so we're going to go ahead and deploy him again. Apparently Guy doesn't like ships. So we just have to hold the deck until reinforcements arrive. And some guy named Jake, who was the husband of the girl we met in the tavern earlier. Oh, and he tells us that we've got a couple merchants aboard. We've got the armory and the shop. Naturally, you won't be able to shop here for much, and after you shop here, you are going to not be able to shop anywhere for a while, because we're going to a place called the Dread Isle. It's not exactly prime real estate for people to... Oh, I turned off attack animations. I should turn those back on. One moment. There we go. Now, as you can see, Raven's really not too powerful. But that's alright, he'll get better with time, as will Lynn, but for now we just really have to worry about getting to that bottom left corner of the map. Matthew can go out there since he's really not going to have any troubles whatsoever with dodging, given his high speed. And I'll send Urk and Priscilla along as well, just for the healing, but I don't want Priscilla to be within range of anyone that can attack, even though at this point no one's likely to kill her due to some extremely good stat growth that she got. But as you can see, Guy and Oswin are just going to be our go-to fighters for a good while now. Everyone else is just going to be soaking up experience, essentially, if they kill any units. We want Raven, Lynn, and... oh god. Raven, Lynn, Oswin, and Guy to kill as many enemies as they can, because anything that they don't kill, anything that another unit kills, that is completely wasted experience. But as you can see, Matthew, even with an iron sword, he's actually a respectable unit now. He's got more than enough health to survive in these sorts of situations. His only failing really now is his strength, but there's not much that he can do about that. So, as you can see, you've got a bunch of magic users to the left, and you've got a bunch of fighters, or rather mercenaries, off to the right. Now, the mercenaries can be deadly, but so can the mages, so you want to be extremely careful with who you send to each area. If you haven't trained up your units to the extent that things are going to be fairly easy for you, you can see that you've got a couple of planks on both sides. With the planks on the left, you can actually, just to the right of the planks on the left, the square... just one square left and one square below the stairs on the main ship, that is a good place to make a chokehold for the enemies that are coming through here. If you place your unit just to the left of the stairs, if it's a unit with fairly high resistance, they should be able to hold off the incoming enemies and then hold their own when they need to fight back. But if you're powerful enough to just head through there without too many issues, then don't worry about it. And off to the right, you'll want a Lance user. Oswin is the perfect candidate if you haven't, even if you haven't trained him up that much, these units just cannot do enough damage to kill him, which is always a good thing. And as you can see, Oswin, even though he's a massive general, is still more than fast enough to strike twice against a mercenary, which is excellent, but his high strength means that he didn't even really need to. Now, I don't want Lyn to sit where Raven is now, is really the big thing. Because where Raven's sitting now, there are going to be a lot of enemies coming in, and he doesn't really have the speed to be able to fight them. Strength gain on Lyn is actually quite excellent. Good on that. So what I want is I want to make sure that Raven can't kill these enemies when he attacks them. In fact, really quickly I am going to get him an iron sword as well. He doesn't have one of those for some reason. Take the iron sword from her. And now with his steel sword equipped, he should still be able to fight fairly well, but he won't be able to kill this unit, which is good, because if he kills this unit and another one moves in and attacks him, and they keep doing this, there's a distinct chance that Raven would die, and as he's one of the only party members that can die at the moment, we'd just do well to be careful with him. And again, other party members can die, it's just highly unlikely that they will die, because they're all so powerful. Now, if I'm not mistaken though, if you kill the boss, it does end the level early, but I very well might be mistaken, so don't quote me on that. But the big thing is you just want to steal that speed wing he has. I don't think the boss moves at all, since this is one of the levels that doesn't break that rule. And that just means that you have to move your thief in, and your thief has to be powerful enough to survive a hit and fast enough to be able to steal from him. As the boss is level 18, it's going to be a risky prospect to fight him, but if you do have anyone fight him, they will get a lot of experience for it. So if you don't have a unit that's level 20, but you have someone like Florina and you can give her the pure water and say a steel lance or something so she can actually deal damage, you should actually be able to do fairly well. Especially if you just hand her a javelin and she has enough resistance that she doesn't take enough damage from these flux units to do much. She can just wipe out the entire left-hand side of the map on her own. Now, I don't like this archer, so I'm just going to take him out immediately with Guy. And as you can see, 24% crit chance with an iron sword pays off. And while you may think, yeah, that's overkill, he was only going to do 15 damage before. Oh, I got a red gem apparently. That's an extra 2,500 gold, incredibly useful at this point. Not really, but we'll take what we can get. Now, I am going to buy a couple of things here. First off, Hector needs a steel axe. And I'm going to sell... This Wolfbane only has 3 uses left on it. I'm going to sell his Vulnerary, actually. And I accidentally just left the shop. Oh well. Elowood's going to visit the vendor. We're going to purchase a couple of Vulneraries. Because it's always good to use a Vulnerary, even though Priscilla is good enough to heal a lot of us now. I'm going to buy an extra Flux Tome for Canas when he runs out, an extra Fire Tome because it's always good to have one on hand, and an extra Heal Staff. I think that should just about cover it. We really don't have to worry about funds right now, which is excellent. A Lance Reaver is not going to do anything to Guy. Meanwhile, an Iron Sword on Guy is going to be more than enough to take out this member of the Black Fang. And the title Black Fang does really give away, oh, a pure water here if you don't have it with you. That's always nice. Very handy of the game to actually help you out. Oh, Raven's going to crit. That was probably the worst possible thing that could have happened, and even then it's not going to be enough to cause me serious problems. Black Fang units are going to continue attacking Matthew, which just isn't going to succeed at all. Even if they hit, they're only going to deal 10 damage, so at the very least it would take 3 of them hitting him to even nearly reduce him to lowest health. And then, oh, he's actually got a different tome. Nosferatu, one of the nice things about dark magic in this game, and in all games in Fire Emblem, is that they have a lot of different effects from normal magic. Normal magic, you'll just be doing a lot of damage. Light magic is highly accurate but low power. Regular magic is slightly lower accuracy, very middle of the road. Occasionally has extra effects, like in the case of Thunder, a 5% crit chance. Nothing really deadly, but certainly something handy. Be careful if you're using Oscar to guard this part, as this unit does have an Armor Slayer. Now, we are going to have Hector buy quite a few iron weapons, actually. Let's see. I'm going to have Hector buy a hand axe for himself, a steel bow for Rebecca, another iron bow for Rebecca, and a lot of iron and steel swords. And I am buying all of these now because it's really just something we're going to be able to use for a while now, plus we have all the cash for it. If you don't have the cash, then obviously don't do this. But if we stock up on weapons now, it's just a bunch of spare things that we can use for units that have their weapons broken in combat. Now, Priscilla is full level, so I'm not going to have her heal Raven. Instead, I'm going to have Sarah do it, because now that Priscilla's full level from healing all the people during their encounters in the arena, you do get hurt in the arena on the world map, so don't go back into a fight afterwards. Do heal up your unit afterwards, though. If I use an iron sword, I'm still not going to kill this unit, but it is going to lower him to significantly less health. But I think if I use the steel sword, Raven can kill him next turn, which is good. I'm going to go ahead and move Lynn down here, though, and I'm going to have her trade for Guy's iron sword, because Guy can go get another one of those from Merlinus here. And because Lynn needs a weapon that isn't her Monicati, because we want to keep some uses on that at the very least. Now, if anyone hasn't reached weapon level A by now, you can still have them trained to do that, but fighting enemies really isn't going to do too much at this point. And that is, again, one of the benefits to training at the arena. Because you fight until one unit is killed, you can get a bunch of attacks off in a single turn, which helps you get a lot of weapon level in a very short period. I did not realize that was on this map. Urk just got the upgrade weapon for magic units, so he's going to be using that next turn. The Guiding Ring can upgrade a Troubadour, Cleric, Dark Mage... Oh jeez, what is it? Troubadour, Cleric, Dark Mage, Light Mage... regular mage. Or, it upgrades literally every single magic unit in the game. They don't change this in later games at all, so Guiding Rings are one of the most useful upgrade materials you can find. Also, this guy has a longsword. They have a lot of status swords on this side of the map, so if you have anybody that is weak to a certain type of sword, you probably don't want to have them go over there. Just keep an eye out. Cavalry, they're going to have a bad time. Generals, they're going to have a bad time. Anyone else? Pegasus Riders, there's a bow user there, so you need to watch out for them as well. Just be careful with your units is the bottom line. Now, we have to survive on turn 4 out of 11, but most of the enemies are already dead, so we're doing fairly well there. In fact, I'm going to have Matthew move in here and steal Zoldam's Speed Wings. Now, you cannot kill Zoldam for his Speed Wings. Unless an item is glowing green, they cannot be stolen. And actually forget everything I've told you about resistance in Pure Water, because I just noticed that Zoldam has the incredibly dangerous Luna Tome. 5% crit chance on it, or higher than 5%, what is it? 20% crit chance, 95% hit. No strength to it, but it completely negates the resistance of whatever unit fights him. So if you have a unit high in resistance go over there, they're just going to have a bad time. So the highest chance that we have of actually killing this level 18 shaman is going to be Guy with his high dodge chance. It's actually fairly helpful. Alternatively, you can use someone who's extremely high in HP, like Oswin. But for now, we're going to have Urk upgrade to a Sage. There we go. Dude gets an even better cape and finally gets to put his hood down. Magic, the biggest bonus to upgrading for mages is going to be survivability. 3 extra defense and resistance is amazing, but he doesn't get much plus to magic. But as you can see, his skill caps are all entirely too high now. And with the, frankly, really high growth rate that Urk has, he should be able to take out these enemies fairly easily now. Raven gets another crit. Dude is just showing off now. But the fact that enemies have crit chance against Raven is fairly disconcerting. I think he has a really low luck stat, might be the reason. Yeah, 2 luck, which is absolutely abysmal. But we'll take luck where we can get it. So he's probably going to get some through level ups. If you get goddess icons and you haven't wasted them like I have by this point, then use them on anyone that's low on luck just to prevent the enemy units from getting crit chance against them. Because that's really the only thing that you absolutely need luck for. Everything else is just a bonus. Now, if you do have units that have support rankings, you can always just have them move closer to each other and talk again. Text. Sarah is literally standing on the other edge of the boat. Alright, so now he was going to have a support relationship with Florina, good, and Oswin with Matthew. There we go. And as you can see, still turn 4 out of 11, only 4 units left on the map, and one of them is the boss. This Myrmidon makes me a little bit nervous, but I think Raven is fast enough that he won't attack... Oh, he's actually faster than the Myrmidon even. Not only is he not going to get attacked twice, he is going to attack twice. Hopefully he gets some luck growth? No? Hopefully he gets some luck growth. That is not a sentence I say often. An extremely rare one indeed. But he did get some resistance, and that's fairly good. Mercenaries are one of the most well-balanced sword units in the game. Their power is moderate, their speed is moderate, their defense is moderate, but overall the unit is excellent, and it upgrades to one of the best sword units in the game, the Hero. Here we go, now we've got some actual fighting to do. Guy gets the honor of taking out one of these black mages in a single hit. No need for a crit there. At the point where every single one of your stats is above 20, you're usually doing pretty well. And when I mean stats, I mean in battle stats. I don't mean his actual stats. Naturally, if you had everything above 20, you'd be an absolute powerhouse anyway. But as you can see, Urk is going to be able to take on any mage regardless of the orientation of the mage in terms of dark light. Just because he has, what is that, 12 resistance now and 44 HP, he really doesn't have anything to worry about at all. So Florina is going to move a bit further out here and drop Matthew there. A support relationship between Oswin and Matthew is, I believe, the one I was growing. Yes, good. So now they're rank B. There you go. The Ostians just supporting each other. And they're just keeping an eye on Hector. So, there you go. Now, I think I also have the support... Oh, no support between Hector and Florina yet. Okay, fair enough. Now, Sarah's going to heal up Raven to full, I think, here. And truth be told, if you do not finish off all the enemies, the level will keep going. It might keep going anyway, I don't know for certain. He misses, which kind of sucks. And Lynn is fairly low on health, so I'm going to see if I can't move Priscilla over. Where can she heal? The end of this dock. Good. Just within range. Use a heal staff on Lynn, and with Priscilla's high magic, heal staffs are more than enough to heal most of my units to full health, but for those that aren't, like Oswin or Guy, the folks that are upgraded, it should be still fairly easy with a mend staff. Once she upgrades though, she'll actually be able to attack, which means she's going to have a much easier time gaining experience. This is, as I previously mentioned, one of the reasons that healers are so underused in the late game. Early game, they are great to have, but late game, once your magic units gain the use of staves upon upgrading, they'll usually have high enough magic stats that you really don't need to worry about anything else. So, Raven is level 11, and there are no other enemies beside the boss, so I'm just going to send Guy to take care of him. Worst comes to worst, I can have Guy use a Killing Edge, which should boost him up to 50% crit or something absolutely ridiculous like that. A single point of magic is fairly poor, but I suppose you can't always ask for much. And Guy is just out of range, so I'm going to keep him that way. Urk can take on any reinforcements that come through here. And I think that's going to just about cover it for what's going on here. We've got enough weapons to hang out in the Dread Isles for as long as we need to. We've got enough experience that we're going to be able to fight any enemies we come across, and we've got units that are powerful enough to take on just about any foe Zoldam, it's highly probable that he's going to get a crit against Guy, or a hit at the very least, possibly a crit, but Guy won't die to the crit, and it's even more likely that Guy's going to take him out in a single shot, or in worst case, 2. Don't worry about an ambush, board their ship, you don't know how to fight, go now or die here. He's not a very kind leader. That is not a crit, which is good. That guy's gonna take some damage and is going to crit him in response. Entirely overkill. You possess this much power, must warn, must dead, and lots of experience for Guy. Upgraded units usually get less experience, but if there's a non-upgraded unit that's near level 20, they're naturally going to get a little bit there. Guy only had 4 resistance anyway, so he really wasn't going to be worrying about Swordmasters too much. They finally managed to plug up the leak about 5 turns early. They ask who wants to die first, board the enemy ship, and promptly find nothing. There we go. Now, how the hell did Ninian get out here? And amnesia, naturally. I couldn't remember what happened to me, Ninian couldn't remember what happened to her. Actually, no, the tactician probably could remember what happened to them. They just never shared it with anyone. Oh well. The men are afraid the girl who can't remember her memory with blood-red eyes that came from the cursed isle might, in fact, be a cursed person herself. Well, she's going with us. There you go. Wait, it just occurs to you now that it might have been the Black Fang when they literally said in Lynn's storyline that they are the Black Fang. Then again, I don't suppose that the actual characters saw that. That was probably just third-person observation, but you know what? That's fine. We have finally arrived at the Dread Isle. They're gonna wait for 2 weeks. And Dart is going to join our party. His only redeeming feature is his sturdiness, quote. Well, that's going to happen occasionally, no real worries there. There you go. So apparently they're not average party, Dragon's Gate, blah blah blah. We're going to find Elowood's dad, and we're going to go on to the next episode as soon as we're actually able to save here. Ninian does have some sort of memory of the Dragon's Gate. Well, presumably she was just there. I mean, that's where we saw that Elowood's father would be with the Black Fang and whatever. Next time on Let's Play Fire Emblem, we explore through the Dread Isle. Until then, this has been PA.